Oh, this little panther. I got a little black panther here. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So if you didn't see, Du Plessis won the fight. He won the fight by, what did they say? Split decision. Yeah. One judge gave it 48-47 Strickland. Second judge, 48-47 Du Plessis. And then the third judge, 48-47 for Du Plessis. So that's a split decision win for Du Plessis. He is the new UFC middleweight champion of the world. I had actually picked Du Plessis to win. However, after watching the fight, I thought that Strickland was going to win. And I'll break it down for you here. So round one, we had the jabs by Strickland, the high kicks by Du Plessis, takedown by Du Plessis. You know what? I'm not going to go through it round by round. But I just thought overall, when you look at it, or actually not even overall, because you're supposed to score it round by round. So the way I scored it round by round was I gave the first three to Strickland, the fourth round to Du Plessis, and then the fifth round was a toss-up, maybe the edge to Strickland, because he really started throwing some heavy leather there at the end. So you could maybe give that to Strickland, but even if that was a toss-up, you'd still have 3 rounds to 1 for Strickland. Apparently, the judges saw it, and they know more than I do. Who am I? I'm just some jabroni watching a pay-per-view. So Du Plessis, Dricus Du Plessis is your new UFC middleweight champ. What did he do? He called out Israel Adesanya. He says, "Hey, we gotta settle the score because they've had a long-running feud." Du Plessis is a South African. He's the first South African UFC champion, but Adesanya does not consider him to be African because he's not black. So and I'm not going to get into it any more than that. We've seen that, or you can go back and you can watch the confrontation that they had inside the cage. So Du Plessis said, "Hey, look, let's settle this thing. Adesanya, get your ass back to the UFC and let's settle it." Now, also they put up on the screen in a little postage stamp, Khamzat Chimaev said, "I'll see you at UFC 300." So as we know, UFC 300 is coming up in a couple of months. And I guess Khamzat thinks he can play matchmaker. I mean, yeah, he's a very good middleweight, but because it was a split decision, what do we do with this? Do we give Strickland the automatic rematch? Is Adesanya going to be ready? What do we do? Chimaev, he's probably then third, right? Because I guess Strickland, when Strickland was the champ, it was Du Plessis, and then I think Adesanya was number 2, the second contender, and then maybe Chimaev. I don't know, but DDP, yeah. No longer can we say DDP stands for Diamond Dallas Page. It's now Dricus Du Plessis. And like I said, for those just joining, 4-1. I mean, well, 4-1. You had DDP winning 3-2, maybe 4-1 Ghost. See, and I had it the other way. I had Strickland winning because, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, but just because you get a takedown, that to me doesn't mean much of anything. When you get a takedown and your opponent pops right back up, kind of negates the takedown. I mean, even more of you negate it even more if you totally stuff the takedown. But if somebody takes you down and you get right back up and you don't take any damage or anything like that, does the takedown really mean much? It's kind of like if the tree falls in the woods and there's no one around to hear it. Did it really happen? No, it's not quite like that. But no, I mean, I mean, Strickland's jab was there all night long. I thought he depended too much on the jab, and let's follow that up with a heavier punch. Jab with the left, then come in with the right. Come heavy with the right. And he waited until the 5th round to really come heavy with that right. So I think that might have been his downfall. And also that Dricus was very active. He was pursuing. And so it's possible that factored in to the decision as well. You know, that he was pursuing and that Strickland was backing up. I believe that could fall under ring generalship, which is one of the things that the judges are supposed to consider. In close fights like that, both guys back and forth, the takedown do count a lot. Says goes. Okay, yeah, you okay. It is a case that can be made for that. There's definitely a case that can be made for that. I mean, but I've just got, you know, Strickland's jab all night long. So that and in the earlier rounds, I'm just going to call him DDP. DDP was pretty wild with his punches. I mean, he had the head kick. That looked pretty nice, but his punches were pretty wild. Yes, that fifth round was really that was cool. That was a sick fifth round. They really went at it there, especially the last minute. They really went at it, so it made for an exciting fight. It was the most exciting fight, I would have to say, of the main card. You know, if we look back at the other fights quickly, Arnold Allen versus Musair Evloev. I'm murdering it. Anyway, that one, that was a 29-28 unanimous decision for Evloev. Then we had, let's see, Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barriault, and that was a split decision for Curtis. Neil Magny versus Mike Mallet. That was a finish. It was actually a finish by Neil Magny late in round 3. And that's why, hey, Captain Damn Sausage. Oh, man. What's up, man? Yeah, so Magny, that's why Magny has had so many fights in the UFC. That's why he's the gatekeeper. If you can get through Magny, then you know you're showing something there. Mallet was not able to get through Neil Magny, so it's back to the drawing board for him. Magny is probably past his prime, probably not going to fight for a title, but you know, it's a living, right? It's a living, and he showed why he is the gatekeeper. You know, he is definitely the gatekeeper of the welterweight division, or one of them. There may be more than one gatekeeper. Magny with the comeback of the night. Yeah, I mean, it was Mallet or Mallet, you know, was ahead, shall we say, in that fight. Then let's see, we had the bantamweight championship. I don't know the whole background there, but I guess the championship was up for grabs, and Kel Pennington and Myra Bueno Silva, and so Pennington is the new. Let's get this other cat out of here before he presses a button and the whole stream goes dead. Pennington is the new bantamweight champion by unanimous decision. But back to Strickland, he was very gracious in defeat. You know, he's a man's man. He is the champion that we needed. You know, he embodied the spirit of the UFC in that he just said what was on his mind with no filter. And that really has the UFC is the only sports federation, sports league, if you will, that still allows its players, its fighters to do that. You know, and maybe that has to do with, well, they're independent contractors when it comes down to it. Technically, they're independent contractors. They're not under the direct employ of the UFC. But I just love that about the UFC, you know, and that's kind of why I'm back, because all the other sports are pansy sports compared to this, really. Any sport that really limits its fighters, you know, and their free speech is, it's just not for me. So, yeah, I'm in a bunker. Roberto Hernandez. No, this is my basement. It's an unfinished basement, so you're looking at the you're looking at oh my God, my two cats are about ready to fight. You can't see this, but they're gonna fight here. Yeah, that's insulation right there. So the worst base for a fighter is being Canadian. Unless you're GSP. Unless you're GSP. The Canadian female stepped up. Yeah, I mean, they all won, but Smiling Sam Alvey was throwing a bit of shade at Pennington on Twitter. Oh, I didn't even see that. Tell me more. Tell us more. Pennington could have finished the fight, but instead she decided to clinch. Yeah, I hate that. That's the thing I hate. You know, the that whole thing, whether it's lay and pray or whether it's you know, stand against the cage and wrestle F or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Dana's favorite sport is power slap, says Ghost. I mean, that's his new venture. Why hasn't if you're going to do that, if you're going to do the power slap, why not get into arm wrestling as well? It's another sport that I like, where guys just say whatever the hell they want to say. Arm wrestling. Yes, Cal, finally back making MMA content. Yes, amongst other things, because I have so many interests. I like to. I'm kind of an amateur knife collector. I also enjoy, like I said, arm wrestling. Power slap is pretty cool. I'm a media guy. I work in public relations, so I do some commentary on that. I love heavy metal music, so I do some commentary on that. It's a little bit of everything. It's all Ted. See, that's the thing. It's all Ted. So hopefully, if you don't like one thing, maybe you like another thing. Maybe you like all the things that I like. And wouldn't that be great? I've yet to meet that person, but maybe you do like all the things that I like. All the fighters at 125 and a few at 115 are going to move up to 135 now. So, this was Sam Alvey saying this about Raquel Pennington. We need more MMA content than watching you chopping wood, says Cal. Okay, so you don't like the chopping wood thing is played out, huh? Yeah, I dig arm wrestling. I dig that stuff. Yeah, so I just made a little short video today. Hermes Gasparini and Travis Bajent, kind of having fun. The camaraderie between the two, we'll put it that way. Travis Bajent, if you don't know, one of the all-time greats in arm wrestling, and his son is one of the quarterbacks for the Chicago Bears. I think is it Tyler? Begins with a T, but it's not Travis because that's the dad. Yeah, that's what I think, Ghost. I think Dana White, he could have done what he's doing for power slap. He could definitely do for arm wrestling. Now they had a show on AMC called Game of Arms. They had one season. They were going to do a second season, and they scrapped the second season, which I thought was a bad move on their part. It was their best reality show. It had the highest ratings. So they were dummies, if you ask me. But anyway, yeah, Devin Larratt is an international superstar. That is for sure. Faux show. Ever watched sumo? I've seen some sumo. I've seen it. Yes, I have. But back to Strickland. Where does Strickland go from here? He had the win over Adesanya, and then turns around and loses the belt. Where does he go from here? Does he who does he take on to get back into that into contention if they don't give him the immediate rematch? Like I said, with a split decision win, Du Plessis wins the belt by split decision. So it's not as good as a unanimous decision. It's not as bad as a majority decision. It's a very, very close fight. It was a very close fight. So do you give him? I'm asking you guys, do we give him? Does the UFC give Sean Strickland the immediate rematch? Strickland versus the winner of Paulo Costa versus Whitaker. Uncle Mike H. Hey, what's up, Uncle Mike? I don't have an Uncle Mike. I got an Uncle Will. I got an Uncle Art. I even have an Uncle Dick. I honestly do. He doesn't go by Richard. He's old, so he goes by Dick. Yeah, but I don't have an Uncle Mike. Strickland versus Cannonier 2. Okay. All right. I'm down. Refresh my memory. What happened the first time around? Because that was before I got back into things. Yeah, Uncle Mike, I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. Yep, just very busy as always, as I'm sure you guys are too. So I just, I got the pay-per-view tonight. I figured, what the hell? Let's just jump on here for a little while at least and kind of bring ourselves down together. You know what I'm saying? Bring ourselves down. The last fight, especially, you expect the last fight to be the best fight. You'd hope. I mean, it's not always that way, but usually the stakes are the highest. And so you got to kind of come down from all that. You got to kind of take a breath and come down. Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah, Khamzat Chimaev thinks he should be. He thinks he is the number one contender. You could make an argument for that. You could make an argument for the winner of Costa versus Whitaker. I don't know if the winner of Paulo Costa versus Whitaker should be the next. I think it should be either a rematch with Strickland or Adesanya. Get Adesanya in there, or maybe Chimaev. Cannonier won by decision in 5 rounds. Okay, yeah, I'd say run that one back. See if Strickland can avenge that loss. Because Cannonier's a tough dude. Heck, that guy used to fight at heavyweight. Let's think about that for a minute. The guy went from heavyweight to light heavyweight to middleweight. So, yeah, and has a fairly good record if I remember correctly. Excuse me. So, yeah, that would be a good one. For sure. Anybody else have any thoughts out there on what Strickland should do next? He, like I said, he was very gracious in defeat. He kept his post-fight speech short and to the point. He's just like, I'm out of here. And he addressed the fans in Canada. He said, I said I would bleed for you. I bled for you. I mean, look, whether you like some of the other things the guy said or not, he's a class act. I'm going to say that he is a class act. He's a professional, and I think he is for a brief moment, he represented the UFC the way that the UFC should be represented, because he said what was on his mind. He didn't give a flying fuck. You know what I'm saying? He just put it all out there, and he said, he spoke his heart, what was really in his heart. There was nothing fake about what he was saying. When Strickland retires, he should get a job at Waffle House so he can still have the occasional fight. I like that. Yeah, just an unrestricted. Like Waffle House Wendy. Remember Waffle House Wendy? Chick's a superhero. She just deflected that chair. Somebody hucked a metal chair at her, and she was just like, bang. And the thing spun. It was amazing. I did a video on it recently. Talk about another man's wife as a class act. I mean, okay, that part, not so much. But I think we could probably file that under trying to sell the fight. Anything goes when trying to sell a fight, even going after family. That there's an argument there. Some people say you shouldn't go after family. Other people say anything goes. Yeah, that part, not so much. But yeah, you could file that under trying to sell the fight, trying to be the villain, and that Strickland being the bad guy, and and Du Plessis being the hero, so to speak, or black hat versus white hat. Hell, I mean, we can go back to Chael Sonnen talking about Anderson Silva's wife. It's been done before. It's not the first time we've seen that. Two joints. I got two joints. What a night of fights, bro. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the undercard. Maybe the undercard. I don't know. Yeah. Hell, I mean, any fights are good fights. Some of them I thought, there were. I would like to have seen more finishes, but wouldn't we all? Right? Wouldn't we all like to see more finishes? 2-1 Fernandez, Gonzalez, Martinez. The problem with combat forts. Combat forts. What the hell? Roberto says, Roberto says the problem with combat sports fans is they suck, I guess. The moment you're down, they move on. I mean, Strickland even said it. He said, well, I'm the flavor of the month, or I'm the the current piece of meat. And then when I lose, if I lose, Du Plessis is the next piece of meat. Yeah, hey, Frank Sinatra said it way back when. You're riding high on Monday and you're shot down in May. That's kind of sports, right? You move on to the next person. That I mean, I'm still a Strickland fan. I won't forget about the guy. I don't think you guys will forget about the guy. Do I think the interim Ghost going back up here a bit? Do I think the interim belt should be silver instead of gold? Okay, there's an idea. There's an idea. Yeah, because and we had this conversation. I believe it was Ghost and I had this conversation before about should the interim belt be defended? Should there be an interim belt at all? What's the point? So maybe that's the solution. It's not as good. The interim belt is not as good as the belt, as the real belt. So maybe kind of downgrade it just a hair and say, okay, we'll make it silver instead of gold. That's an idea. That's an idea I could probably get behind. Yeah, like in the Olympics, you got the gold medal, the silver, the bronze. So Roberto, he's talking to Mike H. Hope business is great, right? Let's see. Let's see. You're only as good as your last fight in MMA, says Captain Damn Sausage. That's true. That's true. It's the old "What have you done for me lately?" Wasn't that a song? I'm not going to sing it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to sing it. Oh, Ghost, round of applause for Ted making his comeback to the MMA world. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I mean, look, thank you. I don't know what the future holds, yeah, love stop, baby, love stop. There you are, man. There you are. Yeah, not a problem. I don't know, I just figured I would do this and see what would happen. I appreciate you guys. Being here. Thank you very much. I'm working my way out of the YouTube doghouse because unfortunately I got a couple of copyright strikes. And so I don't know if you guys have experienced this at all, but they put you in a big old doghouse. And it's like, you got to get so many views, you got to get so many watch hours and all this stuff in order for your channel to be monetized again. So I decided I'm going to work my way. I'm going to be a hardworking man, and I'm going to work my way out of the doghouse. So I've just been uploading like crazy, and just all of my interests, not just MMA, but all of my interests. But I figured, like I said, I figured I would hop on here and see if there was anybody out there. This cat right here, we're taking care of this cat. We're just, this little one, this Black Panther, is like a temporary cat, and it's a crazy one. Yeah. Yeah, 2 joints. That's actually, that one I think is ours. Yeah, I think that's our cat. And then, but the little black one that you saw, that's the one that we're cat sitting for or whatever. Friend of ours. That one's crazy. My cat's nuts too, though. They're both nuts. I just had a thought about that today. What if you got a cat, right? What if you got a kitten? Somebody gave you a kitten, right? And then it was so small that you figured it was just a regular kitten. But then the thing just kept growing, and it grew into like a jaguar or a panther. Wouldn't that be something? Probably not a good something, though. There you go, Ghost. They grow like, yeah. But wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy if you got a kitten and you figured, okay, this is just a regular domesticated cat, but it turned out to be a freaking puma, a mountain lion. You know, that would be insane. Oh, and Ghost. Okay, so Ghost is saying hopefully I can do some arm wrestling content. Yeah, I would like to. They just had East versus West. That's, I don't know if you guys follow that. Ghost probably does. But East versus West is one of the big promotions out there, and then King of the Table is the other. I would say the other big promotion. It's a shame we had one here in the United States. God, I can't even remember the name of it now, but it went belly up. I think COVID killed it. Ghost probably knows what I'm talking about. Nevada allows wild pets with a permit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd be like, wow, this thing's going to take my head off when I least expect it. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't do that. But there it is. That's the little one. Come here. This is the little one. This one looks like a Black Panther. There it goes. Yeah, that one's nuts. That's a wild. That was a feral cat that our friend just kind of snatched from just snatched it right off the street. Yeah, that's a feral one. So it's got a bit of wild in it. Yeah, but I mean, I thought overall, I thought the fights were good overall. Oh, okay. Roberto says working in a casino and a guy in charge had an American wolf. I've seen wolf hybrids, where you take like a German Shepherd and a wolf, or maybe a husky and a wolf. I've seen those. They're actually very, very shy, or, well, I guess you could call them suspicious, if you will. So they were more wild than a regular dog. A regular dog being, more than likely would be friendly. But the wolf hybrids that I've seen were more cautious, if you will, which you would expect wild animals to be. And then I've heard that there are in parts of the country there are coyote wolf hybrids. That those exist in the wild. WAL. Yeah. That was the one, Ghost. Yeah, WAL. I mean, they had all the top guys. They had Devin Larratt, they had John Brzenk, they had Travis Bagent, they had everybody. They had all the top guys, and they just, for whatever reason, they went belly up. It's a shame. So now, if you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, you got to go overseas to arm wrestle. You got to go to Turkey. That's where most of it is taking place. Matt Mask, I like it. Yeah, the Crazy Horse. I like Matt Mask. Yeah, he's fun. He's entertaining. His fingers are all messed up. It's crazy. He's broken like all of his fingers multiple times. East versus West has a pretty good promotion. Yeah, and King of the Table being the other one. Yeah, and somebody should buy WAL and revive it so that we can have arm wrestling here in the United States. I like the way they would bounce around the country. They would hit up major cities with their events. That was cool, and the crowd was like right there. The crowd was so close. That was pretty cool. But all right, I think I wanted to keep this to kind of just a half hour, and just shoot the shit with you guys for a little while. Like I said, I appreciate all the love, and like I said, I watched the pay-per-view and I said, what the hell? Let me jump on here. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know where I'm going to go with this. I have a lot of interests, and so hopefully you find some of the things that I find interesting. Hopefully you find them interesting as well. But for all you pure MMA fans, that's awesome too. Love you guys, and yeah, we will do this again sometime soon. So take care and see you next time.